Wednesday, everybody. Machine Head is here, Jennifer's here, Lava's here, Ryan's here, Ma is here, Chubby Hubby's here, Rufo is here. We got everybody in the chat today. Well, not everybody, but like all the cool kids are here. So, and I'm sure there'll be a few more popping in and out as we hang out. So, but that's who's here already. And literally right when I put the thing in the thing and went to go push the button, I realized that I got all the rocks I need ready. Oh, I need to clean up and organize. It's driving me insane. I got all the rocks that I need ready, but I forgot my coffee. I can't get this thing right today. I'm sorry. There, that's better. So let me get some coffee really quick. So then we can dive right into all of the stories and the stuff happening. Machine is here. Machine Head's here. All right, I'm just reading some of the chat. Yes to coffee. Yes, cheers. Let me fill up a cup of... I'm still just a little gun shy with the thumb, but just a little. It's not too bad. We'll talk about that. All right. I have such a mess right in front of me. Is there any way that I could clean this up kind of quickly? Okay, so we had a praying mantis visit us. That was so cool. I have never seen a praying mantis in the wild. And it just like flew up to the porch light and did fun stuff, and I was freaking out. I was sharing it with like tons of my friends and my mom and everybody, like, check this out. There's a praying mantis on my porch right now. Les is here. Ryan, Roger's here. Welcome, Roger. Jeff is here. Hi, everybody. Cheers. Yeah, we don't see praying mantis here in Montana very often, so that was pretty exciting. And I was sending some videos and stuff to my mom, like, Mom, I've never seen a praying, this is so cool. And she's like, she actually wrote in her thing that she's heard or seen on the internet or whatever that praying mantises like to jump. Hey, Dad Rocks, that praying mantises like to jump on phone cameras. Ha, 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 right? And then it like literally, like I'm watching it, pretty much above my head. Hey, Brian. And it like, I don't know if it fell off of the door frame or if it did intentionally jump, but it landed like on my shoulder. And I actually like tried to turn into a stone, and so that I wouldn't damage it. And you can hear me in the video make this noise like as I try to just stiffen up and turn into a stone, right? And it crawled, thankfully it didn't crawl towards my face, or I might have panicked. It crawled down my arm, but as it got closer and closer to the end of my sleeve, to my hand, I was like, get it, get it, get it. I was like, I don't want it to touch my skin. If it touches my skin, I might have to do my air karate, and I might damage the poor thing. So that was super exciting. And really cool, like really, really cool. I'm still like, that was cool. Like the praying mantis was very interesting. Yeah, I didn't know there could be such, I didn't know they could live here. So, and yeah, anyway, that was cool. Anyway, we decided to call it a night. Had everything all buttoned up for bed, TV off, lights down and everything, and was like, what is that noise? Do you hear that noise? Mr. Chubby Hubby says he wants a Mantis Post t-shirt. Anyway, so I hear this noise on the back deck, like what is that noise? And I've had a lot of stray cats over the summer. I've kind of complained once or twice online to the community buzz page about, you know, I don't have a cat. I like cats. I like other people's cats, but I choose to not have one because I don't want to clean a litter box, right? And I've had a dog, and my dog wasn't really cat friendly. She was if your cat was very dog friendly. But she always ran them out of the yard for me, all the stray cats and stuff. And yeah, so I've kind of, you know, said something about it's yucky. Like, it's yucky when they're peeing in my truck. That sucks a lot. Like, I had to shampoo the living daylights out of my pickup, and they're so literally the day that the mantis visited us and that I got bit, I was sitting on my beanbag chair out there, and I bring it in when it rains and put it out when I'm working and stuff. Like, I care for my beanbag chair. I like to sit on it when I'm out there doing flat lap stuff. And I'm sitting there and I start doing some opal, and I'm like, God, it smells like cat pee. And I'm like, is it the opal? Did I see Karen stop in? I did, didn't I? Hey, Karen. Glad you could join us. Anyway, I do a couple of them, and I even get up and empty my water and refill my water and sit back down, and I'm like, because, you know, dino bone will smell a little. It'll stink, right? And I go a little bit more, and finally I just can't take it anymore. And I stand up and I pick up the beanbag chair and I smell it. And I'm like, oh! and I pull the old bison sitting right next to me running the little saw, the little 6-inch saw, and I'm like, smell this. And he's like, do I have to? And I'm like, yeah, you do. And he's like, yes, it smells like cat pee. I was like, gosh dang it. Like, so I went through it in the dumpster because I do have another like little cushion that I sit on out there, but oh gosh dang it, that ticks me off so bad. Like, on my porch, like literally right out my back door, right? And then so later this evening I hear the noise. Do I have to, says Rufo. Hey Scott, welcome. And I walk up to the back door. I'm honestly like, I don't even really know how I'm going to proceed. Like, I don't know what the noise is. Like, do I get a flashlight and like creep out, or do I like flick the light on and like ambush whatever it is that's on the deck making the noise? Like, how do I even proceed, right? And I decided to just go full bore. I go turn the light on and fling the screen door open, and there's a little gray kitten with his hind leg wrapped up in the fly tape and the tape wrapped around the deck chair. Okay, I promise we will look at some rocks today too, as soon as I'm done telling this grand tale. So I panicked. I was like, oh, poor little kitten. And I ran over there and tried to help him, and he latched onto my thumb, which is healing really well, by the way. You can almost barely tell it happened. He got me right there and right there and right there and right there, and a little tiny bit right. You can't even see it anymore. In fact, I had a sliver on this finger that is more irritated and stuff than the cat bite is. So I actually like really lucked out that it's healing really good. It looks so good. But anyway, I'm like, you know, I've complained about them doing property damage, you know, stray cats peeing all over everything. I've you know, kind of complained online a little bit, a couple of times, maybe even throughout the summer. And now I've been bit. Like, this is getting out of control. Like, so trying to figure out like who is animal control and who do you call to get help with something like this in this little town was a little bit like playing Jeopardy. Like, I'll take who is animal control in, you know, Sunburst for $1,000, please. Is it the city guy? I'm sorry, that is the incorrect answer. Is it the after hours 1-800 number? What is the after hours 1-800 number? Sorry, that's an incorrect answer. What is the mayor? No, sorry, that answer is incorrect. So, while I if I start meowing, I started rhyming everything. I wrote a poem. And my mom is like, I wonder if that's the first symptom of rabies is being hilarious and rhyming everything. You sound like Dr. Seuss today. I was like, I know, right? Anyway, I did talk to the city guy, and he was like, you know, you've got to like actually show up at a town meeting and say something. Otherwise, we really like if you post online, like we can't really take that and like, oh, it's here, like everyone in town is upset about the cats. Like we can't really do a lot with that, he says. So like come in. He's like, we've already got things on the books for tonight or for the meeting that night that would really pertain to what just happened to you. He's like abandoned property maintenance, you know, that relates to stray cat issues, open feeding of stray cats, you know, things like that that they already have on the books and that they're working on, but that, you know, something like this may help them, you know, this needs to be put forward and it needs to be done so, you know, like quit pussyfooting around. And so I've decided I'm going to read my poem to City Hall. That's, you know, okay. And then tell them, you know, like maybe rather than being, you know, reactive, we could be maybe a little more proactive, and then maybe nobody else could get bit if we maybe start doing something. Like I imagine like, so time out because I'm really hard to embarrass. It takes a lot to embarrass me. I get on stage, I play music, I sing, I mess up in front of people all the time, and it doesn't really bother me too bad, right? I get on YouTube and I talk. And I'm fairly unshy, fairly unembarrassable. But last night was the town meeting, okay, at 7 o'clock. So I hung out on Karen's Live, did my thing, and then prepared myself to go in and speak to City Hall. And I show up and I'm walking up to the city center building, and I'm like, dang, this is a really busy town hall meeting. Man, there's like a lot of vehicles here and stuff. And I walk in, and as I'm walking in, another person is coming like with me. Like we walk like almost side by side into the meeting, and I'm like, well, you know, I'm a little early, quite a bit early, but I walk in and I'm like, oh, they already got started, which I've had to go to a couple town hall meetings before. I don't like to, but I've had to before. I don't like going to the school board either. Not law intimidates me, but City Hall and the school board kind of do. I don't know why. They're people like you and me, you know, and it never turns out like, oh my God, that was horrible, but it still gets me going a little bit. And yeah, so I walk into the meeting and they've already got started, which like I say, isn't unusual. I've walked into a town hall meeting before and they've got started early. They want to get out of there early, you know? And I sit down and they're like, all approve the motion, say yay, all in decline, nay. Okay, motion approved and passed. I have no idea what they're voting on as I find a chair, and so does the other guy that was walking in with me. And I sit there for just a second and they like, okay, make note of that the motion was passed. I have no idea what the hell they were voting on. And they all look at me, and the one gal who's like running the meeting, she's like, did you have something you wanted to say? And I was like, yeah, I just want to make, public comment real quick that, and I read my poem. 'Twas the last night of summer, and all through the house, as we celebrated a mantis and we headed to bed like some louse, I read my bison, me in my house coat and bison in his briefs. We headed to bed to get us some sleep, And I'm reading my poem, and all these people in the room are kind of nodding along, and, and I finish up, and I'm like, I really feel like that could have been any of us, that could happen to anybody, like it, sucky deal, but maybe we should do something, about it. And I'm just here to say so that we can get the ball rolling on doing something. And the gal who's running the meeting says, that's really, really interesting and really nice. And I'm actually really glad that you shared that with all of us, but we're the Lions Club meeting. I was like, I'm so sorry that I interrupted your meeting. Please allow me to excuse myself from your meeting. I'm just gonna go. Oh gosh, as I looked around and realized, like, okay, yeah, this is not a city hall meeting, is it? Where's the mayor? Where's the town guy? None of those people are here. Oh God, they were like, though, you're right, and you did a great job, and we're glad we could be your practice. So now you can go nail it at City Hall. Oh God. Yeah, okay, so good thing I was there early because I still had time to get over to the actual City Hall meeting. I was there in time, plenty of time, actually. Anyway, same thing. I read my thing to them. It was hilarious because they offered me a chair and I was like, no, that's okay. Cause I've been to a couple of town hall meetings before. And I was like, usually doesn't take you guys too long to get started and get around to public comment. I was like, no, I'm just going to make a quick public comment and then vamoose if that's all right with you. And they were like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so dude's sitting in his chair, right? I read my poem. And like I say, he's sitting at a table and I'm standing like where you guys are, sure, right? And I read my poem. They really don't, there's a couple of them. The city guy and the mayor might understand what's going on, but the clerk and the town council members that are there probably don't know that I've been bit by a cat. They probably haven't heard this story yet, right? So when I read my poem to them, and then I stop and I explain, I'm like, so what happened is there was a small kitten stuck to a fly tape and the fly tape was wrapped around the bottom of my deck chair. As I, standing here, motion to the chair that the council member is sitting in. And he literally cringed. He went, ooh. He literally lifted his foot off the ground and went, oh. Just the idea of a bitey little kitten stuck to the bottom of his chair made him recoil in horror. Oh, our Lions Club, no doubt. I messaged my friend Steven because we were chatting about how our mothers, my mother in particular, has terrible stage fright. She always asks me how I manage to get on stage and perform music. How do you do that without having a complete meltdown and anxiety attack? How do you talk in front of a camera, in front of YouTube, or, anything else? Get up in front of the town hall and read my poem? Oh, hell no. My mom, she's like, and my response to her is this going to actually physically hurt me or kill me? No, it's not. No, nobody's ever got up on stage to sing and play and been like, damage, I'm taking damage. You're fine. Even if you screw up, it's fine. But my mom's like, no, the honest to God answer to that is that, yes, I would die. I would have a heart attack. I would die. And she's exaggerating a little, of course, but so it was funny, though, that I was literally just talking about that with my buddy Steven, how stage fright my mom is, how frightened she is. She can't public speak, that kind of thing. So I was like, Steven, I embarrassed myself. And he was like, at least you got good practice and you got your message out to even a broader audience than you had originally planned. He's like, probably a good thing. And I'd said exactly what Roger said in the comments right now. No, man, you're not wrong about that. Those Lions folks are genuinely good folks. That is a genuinely good bunch of folks there. As I realized what was happening and looked around and was like, oh, it is a Lions Club meeting. Like, seriously, like, genuinely good folks at that meeting. And like I say, they didn't stop me from embarrassing myself. They literally sat there and listened and nodded along in approval. And then, like I say, they were like, you're right. And we're glad you brought this to our attention. But, you know, like, we're a Lions Club meeting. Oh, I need to be at a different meeting. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, gosh. So, yeah. They certainly didn't mind. You know, I'm sure they've they've made a fool of themselves once or twice too. And yeah, again, nobody ever walks out of anything like that going, oh gosh, you know, oh no. However, will I survive the embarrassment? But yeah, and thank you, by the way, who did that? From Josh. Josh, you rock. How's the life of both meetings, Jody? Our city guys are a little bit honest sometimes. They're like, oh, it's always the same meeting over and over, like same thing. You know, we might talk about different topics, but it's always the same meeting. And I'm like, well, let me come in and spice things up. Like, I came in all like Dr. Seuss reading my poem, like. Anyway, I would usually be the one who was like, well, why did you have your finger in the dang kitten's mouth anyway? Like, don't put your finger where you wouldn't put your, you know what? But, yeah, it just happened so fast that I didn't even think about it. And look what happened. That is funny, dads. That is funny. The whole thing. I mean, you can't make crap like that up. It's like, no, it's supposed to be a town hall meeting tonight at 7. I think I'm just in the wrong place. There was a town hall meeting. They had it in the other building. Oh, gosh. Okay, so I told you we would look at some rocks today. Let's do a little of that. I wonder if we can get in here to where it's... Oh, goodness, you guys. I can't believe that happened. I'm glad it happened to me. I mean, I handled it well. And my friends are all right. Like, that's not the worst thing in the world. Like, the Lions Club gang, man, they're a bunch of genuinely great people. So, oh, not all a bad thing. Okay, when I was down at the walking path, before, like right when I got there, before I bumped into Grayson and the whole like biker gang down there, like before I even turned my camera on, before I even started, I literally yeah, and if I really have to stop and think about it, Roger, maybe out of the confusion and the chaos and the, you know, anxiety of approaching the board and all of that, I could maybe say that they were voting on whether to do the poppy poster contest or not. I may have heard like that right before they asked if I wanted to say anything, like, and it still didn't put it all together, right? Oh gosh. Anyway, right when I went down to the walking path, on my way down there, actually, I followed a vehicle, kind of a larger vehicle, company vehicle, maybe of some kind, even two, like a fully covered truck, like the whole back had a, like, cover, you know, anyway, and some, like, little letters on the side. I don't know. I followed this guy to the very edge of town, and he took the first path that you take. Sorry, the sun's shining in, but we're just going to roll with it for today. He took the first path down to pull off to get down to the walking path. And I thought for sure he'd park his truck there and, you know, enjoy the quiet or, you know, get out and walk or something. And I drove on the main road past him and took the next little pull off to go down to the walking path. So I get out and I walked down to the walking path, parked my vehicle and walked down. And like watching this guy, now I'm here and I'm looking back and I'm watching this guy and I'm like, he's going to drive that truck through here, isn't he? Like, it's just a like 2-track. Like, it's not really for full-size vehicles. Like, you could take a quad or a little, you know, I don't know what those are called, gators or whatever, I don't know, down there, but you really probably shouldn't. Maybe, I don't know, you shouldn't probably take a full-size vehicle down there though. So I'm like eyeballing this guy, like, what the heck is he doing? And he pulls up, I'm walking now on the path, and he pulls up next to me. I'm going to turn you guys around now that you've looked at these rocks really quickly, just while I tell this story. Sorry about the noise. Hey, Brian. So here's this guy, and he's like hanging out the window of his truck, and he's like, what you doing, rockhounding? He's kind of a big guy. And I was like, yeah, I am, as a matter of fact. And he says, you finding anything? And I was like, I just got here. And I said, I usually do, though. I usually find, you know, fossils or pet wood or some, you know, agates, jasper, something down here, right? And he says, yeah, I've been rock hounding a little bit like this just outside of Sweetgrass, and I find some, you know, fossils and some agates and some, you know, other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you know, that's cool. I'm at this point in time, like, I don't really quite know what to make. I know he's a character. I've already come to that conclusion, right? And I'm like, I don't quite know, like, whether to take him seriously or not, because, you know, sometimes people are like, yeah, I got rocks. Yeah, I got rocks. And then you go to see their rocks and you're like, ee. Like, I'd have left those, man. I'd have left those right where they were. Like, what made you bring that home? You know? So I can't quite put my finger on, like, what kind of a rock guy this is. I know he's a character, but I don't know yet if he's... So then he says something about, yeah, I got a 16-inch rock saw. And I was like, well, or whatever he had, 12-inch, 16, I can't remember what he said he had. It was pretty big, though. And I'm like, what'd you say your name was? And he's like, yeah, I'm Larry. And I was like, it's nice to meet you, Larry. And I shake his hand and I tell him, you know, I got some saws and some stuff. And yeah, I just, you know, I hound all over the place, but this is close. You know, I can do this in just a couple minutes, just pretty much out my back door, you know. And he says, yeah, I'll leave some rocks at the grocery store for you one of these days. And again, I'm like, you know, when people say they'll leave rocks for me, I'm always like, oh, please don't. I have so many rocks, please don't. But so I went into the grocery store yesterday, and the little gal working at the counter says, some guy left you some rocks here. I said, oh, did he? I said, oh, right on. There were a couple more in the stuff that he left me, but of course, I'll never say no if somebody wants to give me some common opal. That is a big chunk, by the way. Huge chunk. Right, Rufo? Oh, thank goodness. So now I'm like, where's Larry? How do I find Larry? Who was this guy? Like, I should put some rocks back in the bottle and put it back at the grocery store and be like, dude, get a hold of me. Let's go hounding. Tell the gal at the grocery store, if you happen to be able to pick this guy out of the line again, or if he asks you, did you give me my rocks or anything, you know, give this back to him. Yeah, those are some nice pieces for around here. I really don't find a lot of this out here on the prairie. Really, really, really don't. I have, out of all of the rock hounding that I've done, you know, maybe a one small box, you know, not even the size of a full sheet of paper. And it's not full by any means. There's some pieces in there, but one of the nicest pieces I've ever found here. Well, it should be sitting up here on my display. Am I just overlooking it? Yes, I moved it. One of the nicest pieces I've ever found, while it's smaller than his piece, has really beautiful color in it. I love like the yellows and blues and stuff that play at the edge. Look at all the yellow in there, the yellow to blue. Oh. Roger, do you know this Larry guy? Yeah, Larry rocks, right, Chubby Hubby? Oh, yeah, so he found some nice pieces. And he told me his spot. I know exactly where he was at. In fact, maybe that's it. Maybe I'll just go hound his spot on these last few nice days and see if I can just accidentally bump into him again. Yeah, anyway, he turned around. He turned his vehicle around down there and went back out the way he came. Like, I think he realized right about there where I'd walked in that that's not really for full-size vehicles. He turned around, he drove out of there, and I never seen him again. I finished my rock hunt and wondered, you know, will there be some rocks down at the grocery store for me one day, and will they be good or not, you know? Yeah, that was pretty cool. Pretty cool of him to, you know, here's some stuff I've been finding. Yeah, I find it too, buddy. And usually like somewhere between this honey or brown color to an olive green color usually is what we find. I really don't find a lot of the blue, white, yellow, that kind of, this is exceptional, you know. That is 10 years of looking out on the prairie before you find something nice like that. So I did make some beautiful jewelry. With some of my Spencer opal. I know, right, Roger? I mean, I know of a lot of hounds, but people who just like tumble or, you know, collect. I don't know a lot of people who actually have big saws and, you know, take it super seriously. this piece. Of course, the camera never does it justice. Let's see if we can get in just a bit closer. That's so helpful. Again, look at where that sliver was. That got me so good, that stupid sliver. And the wind is blowing my door shut. Blowing all kinds of leaves and stuff into the entryway too. Awesome. Welcome, Beth. And thank you, Josh, for that. Yeah. Oh, there's such a good color bar in the side. There, I'm starting to get it. Yeah, the cool thing about making it into a ring is that the wearer actually gets to see the color and all of that. I did another one. Just a little bit bigger. I thought it blew shut once already. How did it blow shut again? There's another flash. You can see it just above this piece of metal way down in there. And it's real pink and red. Like way down in there. There's this color bar up here that's popping. But there's another one way down in there. Thank you, Allison. When I carved this piece, when I did this piece, I'd planned on this side being almost as round as this side. But as I got going, there was sand all the way down, but I got a little peekaboo of some opal on the side. And maybe even a little like electric flash of color in that little tiny peekaboo right there, right? And I was like, wait a second now. So I followed this really insane color bar. And I was like, if that comes out over here underneath of all this sand, I was like, I gotta go a little bit deeper. And so I kept grinding the sand off and grinding the sand off. And you'll see I left just a little bit of sand there because I really came to the determination that that color bar does not go past that sand. There's one underneath of it that's kind of up in there, but not that one. But yeah, I love how pink it is on the ends, how like pink bodied that opal is. It's got some beautiful color, some beautiful flash. So pretty. Anyway, I'm just hooked on the Spencer stuff, you know, right now. And so tried the doublet, right? There's a little tiny bit of color in there. It's so shiny that you can see all my sweaty fingerprints on it. But yeah, not a lot of color. Like I say, I practiced with my not nicest piece, you know, so I could get a feel for how the opal and the obsidian were going to play together. How are they going to feel together? You know, what grit's too strong, what grit's not strong enough. So just, yeah, pretty much white piece of opal. There's some color in there, but it wasn't, you know, anything I planned on seeing or anything. I didn't see it before I started, and you really got to look hard to see it after I'm done. So, yeah, it wasn't about it wasn't about getting a good color bar or even getting a really thin piece or anything. It was literally just about trying the two different materials together on the wheel at the same time and learning how to work and manage that. You know, how does it feel? What is it, you know, how does it work along the way? That kind of thing, you know. And that empowers me when that turns out well. That empowers me to go ahead and try some of my better color. You guys, I've never been a dopper. I just barely have stuck my toe into doublets with the sunstone, the confetti sunstone that I did. So doublets and triplets are new, and dopping are all new experiences for me. And so again, I'm just putting my toe in the water. There was some color in this piece. There still is. I didn't, you know, grind it all off or anything, but again, is it the most magnificent color? No. No, it's not. Was that the plan when I started? No, it wasn't. The plan when I started was literally just to try putting the two materials together. First of all, trying the glue bond, you know, testing that, getting a good, nice, good flat seal. Yes, I could have come in a little farther, you know, and taken care of some of those little things. You know, yes, I could have, blah, blah, blah. But how much time do you put into a piece that, you know, again, really doesn't have a huge lot of flash? I mean, nice little piece. We'll go ahead and buzz it off now to make it less chunky. Like this one's still quite chunky. Where'd the other piece go? The other one. That's chunky. That's a chunky monkey. You know, neither one of those need to be that chunky. But again, now I'll come through and try to cab that just, or cut that just a little closer, and then clean up the bottom. And you know, like I say, is it the nicest piece I've ever made? No, but that wasn't the intention going in. The intention was just to start getting familiar with the process, trying things out, feeling it out. I don't want to ruin my best color while I'm making my learning mistakes and all of that. So, but I did dabble a little and have come up with some, you know, really, really, really pretty stuff. Even though I'm not playing with my best color by any means. So, what else? What else is going on? Interesting, Roger. When I worked at the bar, the UPS guy, Chad, and he lives in Cupbank. He worked for CHS for a little while, and we called him Hollywood. Hollywood, because he's, you know, kind of looks like he wears the fancy pants, the ones with all the, you know, designs on the pockets and stuff. And he embraced the nickname. In fact, he went on a road trip once and brought me back a keychain that said Hollywood on it. Anyway, he has like a 16-inch Roxa, but I don't think he ever uses it. Like, he has it and used it for a little while, but I don't think it's something he does on the regular. But he's a dog. We did cut one more, Josh, and it was kind of a dud. It's pretty, but it was crumbly. I'll love to show that real quick. Because I'm sure you're curious and want to see. Let me have a cheers too, just cause. No, I don't mind Chad, but yeah, he's a he's different. Suppose you kind of gotta be to put a big saw in your garage. This is just rock. Do I have a spray bottle? No, but I have a lot of water. This is this other rock. What? Space Matters here. Steven, welcome. I'm still super zoomed in. That's not necessary. Like I say, it's real pretty. And here I think is, no, yeah, that's part of it. And that's part of it. But some of it did kind of crumble. Like, and some of it still kind of wants to. It's pretty. Oops, that's too much. Let's get it wet. But yeah, it just wants to kind of... I think if you took it here, look, it's kind of crumbly. I think if you cut it here, you could probably get something out of this piece. That might make it through tumbler. Or a polish, maybe, you know, maybe not a tumbler, but a polish. Get in there. But I'm not so sure that this side would make it. It's cool, like the little pieces that broke off of it. It's cool. But yeah, it kind of went to just a little kaplit. Kind of went a little bit kaplit. Which, that'll happen sometimes. Like I say, that one side, though, you might be able to save that one side and do cool stuff with it. But, yeah, kind of went crumble. Some of it, and then, yeah, we still got a couple more, so you never know what'll come out of that. I keep meaning to get Jeff's Kentucky rock in there, too. It's sitting on the... Oh, that's the other thing I want to talk about. You could put your rocks in that thing. Do you guys see that thing? God, I can't do a circle around it to save my life. That thing. Do you see it? So I've got some of Jeff's Kentucky agates sitting here getting ready to maybe get in there, right? And there's, oh gosh, there's rocks everywhere to get in the big saw, but this. It's still like super horribly filthy. There's still like plenty of little cobbies and things in there. So I gotta clean it up still, but can you see up on the top in red lettering, it says Pepsi? Oop, I said Pepsi and the dust blew off of it. This side it says Pepsi, and then it says PepsiCo, Shelby, Montana. Pepsi-Cola, Shelby, Montana. It's got like metal hardware around the edges. So I'm like, F yeah, you could put your rocks in there. And you can. if you hang it longwise, God, everything, why is everything backwards? Because the things go all the way to the back longwise. But if you try to hang it landscape mode, there's a gap. And you can't put your rocks in it this way because they'll fall out. But you can put your rocks in it this way. And your rocks on top. Because there's no gap this way. See what I mean? Gap. No gap. Gap. No gap. So yeah, I gotta clean it up a little bit. You know, fix it up just a smidge. You know, that one little nail kind of wants. He could have a little tightening, so he doesn't lose his. You know, lose it. If he doesn't fall out, we don't lose him. But yeah, I'm gonna put my rocks in there. So Bison's mom was hanging out. The last party that the band did, we played on the roof for the grand opening. Well, it's a place that's been open forever, but under new management. I went to school with the gal that now owns it, and so Bison's mom was in there with her significant other, and she was like, Walter, what you gonna do with all of these? I guess there's a buttload of them. And it's just interesting. I wonder if I could help him offload a few of those. You guys need one or two of those? Anyway, she's like, what you gonna do with all of these? And he's like, I don't know, sell a few, throw a few in the garbage, give a few away. I don't know. And so she took a couple of them and she brought one over to Lava Bison, and he's a plant guy and he's a foodie. So she was like, how about you could put your spices in it? And he was like, I mean, I have a spice cabinet. The spices are in the spice. And he was like, but I bet I know who would like this and what exactly you could do with that. So, Sand Maker, welcome. So, I think that's kind of the bee's knees. I'm going to go give it a good hosing and help it, you know, stick it back together a little bit. It doesn't smell dusty at all. I mean, it is dusty. It doesn't smell like storage or anything. So no odor. It probably really could just use a washcloth and dish soap or something, even just to wash it up. Like, I'm not worried about like restoring the antique. I'm gonna put rocks in it. I'm gonna beat it up, right? So, but yeah, I was like, oh my God. Can I have like all of them? Like, can I have 99? Do you have 99 boxes, bottle boxes that I could hang on my wall? Because that'd be cool. I'd do such a thing. I really would. I'm curious. I keep eyeballing my coffee just a little to make sure that when I said Pepsi in front of that thing and blew all the dust off of it, that it didn't go right in my cup. It looks clean enough. The other Allison was here a little earlier too. I was going to wait till the meteorite meeting to pull her leg a little bit. But if she's here, I'll do it now. You know, Allison, I just rubbed a little dirt on my cat bite. You know, the first thing I did was rub some dirt on it. Because the dirt absorbs the saliva, right? I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh, I know it's no laughing matter, you guys. I really do. I know that cat bites are like the nastiest. And I so appreciate, I'm not trying to downplay anybody's concern for me or the great advice that everybody gave, you know. I'm just picking on Allison a little bit because I can. But yeah, she had left a comment, you know, my own cat bit me once and it was like, go get antibiotics right now. That's right. Add those dirt bacteria, right? I was telling Steven earlier, I was like, I want to tell her I rub dirt in it because that's what country girls do. I'm just kidding. I immediately washed it with antibacterial soap and then squirted some hydrogen peroxide right flushed everything with squirty motion hydrogen peroxide. And then more antibac soap. And then lots of Neosporin. I didn't really go rub dirt in it, but I had to kind of, I also didn't go get antibiotics, you know, so. But I do appreciate everybody's concern and stuff. If I'd, you know, okay, here's another thing too. Like, I had a minute to look at Kitten, right? I had a minute to look at him, and he didn't look sickly. He didn't look ill. That doesn't mean that I'm safe and out of the woods, right? But that does alleviate some of my concern for, you know, rabies and things like that, right? So I also know that cat bites are no joke. Don't play around. They are like 99.9% likely to get infected and horrible. So thumbs up, I'm doing okay. I did try home care before I went and got an antibiotic. I don't think this needs an antibiotic. I mean, I was very concerned the first day and 2 days that it probably would, you know, and that I probably should start one sooner than later. But I also kept an eye on it and was like, it really, I mean, it looks like it was in a torture vise, because it was in a torture vise. But it also looks like it's healing very well, and like the antibacterial soap did the job. And so, oh goodness. The dirt will kill the bacteria. Oh, there's something yucky. Listeria. Listeria lives in the dirt. Tetanus lives in the dirt. Yeah, let's maybe not rub dirt in it. So again, this all happened so fast. Allison asked what happened to the kitty. This happens like super fast. And once, and actually he had a hold of me. He had a hold of me, and I was like, I'm trying to help you, man. I had a hold of him. He had a hold of me. And finally, I actually had time to say out loud to Joseph, it's biting me. It's still biting me. Like, it's still biting me. And it finally let go of me, and I came in and grabbed the blanket, and yeah, exactly. Right. Pushed the blanket down on top of Kitten, and Lava was able to pull the tape off of his leg. Some of his hair stuck to the tape, but he's, other than that, no worse for the wear. When we freed him from the tape, he jumped off the deck and ran into the night. Anthrax, you guys, come on. The Rabid Rockhound is enough. Let's... I didn't see him again until the day of, so yesterday, the day of the town hall meeting, and he ran across the street in front of my pickup, and he looked just fine. So yeah, I do too, Jennifer. I really do. I really do. You know, it makes me sad because I haze them out of my yard because I don't want them in my garden. I don't want them in my garage. I don't want them peeing on my deck. That's my work area. You know, I do a lot of my jewelry work out there while I can. You know, the cold winter months are coming, and it's so nice. Like, it looks like a bomb went off in here. I haven't really got caught up since Spencer. I was actually getting ready to crank the tunes up and do a like, woo, sweep. Actually got started on the desk. I was gonna lay the thing down and put it under the window. Turns out you can't put it crooked, so I have to find a new place for it. I was getting ready to do some cleanup the other day, and Karen's like, do you want to join the live? I was like, yeah, I'll go hang out on the deck and make some more jewelry. So I do actually need to do a big cleanup, but yeah, it makes me feel sad to haze them out of my yard. I want to be able to enjoy my deck for my purposes, you know. And I like to sit down on the little cushy pillow. Like, it's so, yeah, I don't want them peeing and pooping all over. And like I say, property damage sucks, you know. And so I do kind of like, get out of here. You don't live here, you know, get out of here. Shoo them away. But it deep down inside does break my heart. I'm like, man, winter's coming. And they're gonna be so cold. Like they're getting by just fine right now. There's dead bird carcasses all over the place in my yard. Like they're they look healthy. Thank goodness. Like, thank goodness, because there has been times when the cat population is super sad with the icky eyes and stuff. I don't see a lot of that right now. in the stray cats. I have before, but I don't right now. They all look pretty healthy and like they're doing pretty okay for themselves. But I know winter's coming, and so it does break my heart. It breaks my heart to haze them out of here and, you know, not give them a nice warm home. But again, I don't want a cat. Like, I don't want to clean a cat box. I don't want to have to get somebody to take care of my cat if I want to go to Spencer for the weekend, you know? Like, I didn't run out and get a new dog because I want to travel around a little bit, you know? Like, it's not my responsibility financially or morally or physically to house them. So the more humane thing to do is to help them out, trap them up, get them into a clinic somewhere, get them, even if you trim them and, you know, stock the ear and, you know, re-enter, that's better than nothing at all. So, and there's been talk about it. Like, can we do a spay and neuter clinic up here in the new city building, that rec building? It's got hot water, it's got electricity. Those are the things you need to run a spay and neuter. Again, I went and made my speech to the Lions Club last night to see if I could remedy that, to see if we could get a spay and neuter into place. The freaking Lions Club meeting. Minute. Yeah. Anyway. So, like I say, no good deed goes unpunished. You go try to make a speech to the city hall about getting a spay or neuter clinic set up in your town, and you accidentally embarrass yourself in front of the Lions Club. Lions are cats too. That's very true, but they're not quite as feral and they're not as rabid. So they've matured into majestic lions. No, okay, that took a left turn. Oh, I have one more surprise, and then we'll get the heck out of here. I pretty much thought I'd be done like right about 2. That's about perfect. And then, Rufo, I'm going to poke you just, hey, Rick Rock, hi there. And Jody, I don't think I actually said hi to Jody, because when Jody popped in, I was melting in my chair. She's been in here on 2 different, she's both Marketplace Boutique and Jody's Genealogy. So, and Romania's here. Hi, Romania. Didn't you know you're still alive? Yeah, you know. You know. Let's see. Maybe I should grab the other one too, so you can see what an upgrade I did here. Okay. Let me give you guys some advice, free advice. I won't even charge it. Do not hang out with Pat Brown. He's a bad influence. Professor Pat, Microscope Pat, my friend from the Meteorite crew, he's a bad influence, that guy. Stay away from that guy. He's bad influence. Don't hang out with Pat Brown. So I'm sitting here minding my own business one day, and I get a message from Pat. Says, oh, Blaine Reed's got a piece of 2-dot for sale. Ashley showed it on her live today. Maybe you should message Ashley and see if you can get a piece of 2-dot from Blaine Reed. Oh, God. I ignore it. I ignored it real hard for a few days. I did the best I could to ignore it real hard. And I get on the meteorite meeting Wednesday, a few days after that, and I'm like, Pat says, so did you get that piece of 2-dot? Like, you probably won't ever see one that big ever again up. And I'm like, thanks, Pat. I'll just drive it home how much I really need this meteorite. Oh, are you kidding me right now? He's not wrong. He's not wrong. It is really large. It's 17.1 grams. Here, I don't know if that's all backwards to you guys. I'm gonna find out in a minute. Oh yeah, totally bass-ackward. I could turn it around for you. It's such an ugly meteorite, you guys. What the hell am I gonna do with 2 pieces of 2-dot? I'll bet I'm like one of only about like maybe 5 people, maybe even less than that, people in this whole wide world who have more than 1 piece of 2-dot. What does a girl need 2 pieces of 2-dot for? I don't need it. That's a bad influence. So I have it. This is less than a whole gram. So this is where I was with my 2-dot specimen. And this number really means nothing to anybody, except that if you're in the know, you know that that is a Reverend McLean label. So I bought this meteorite and another Montana meteorite roundup, a piece of iron Montana meteorite, both at the same time from Reverend McLean's collection. So that's pretty cool. And it comes with like just a fat stack of provenance paperwork. Like anytime it changed hands, like before McLean got it to when Steve, it's Steve who sold it to, I can't remember the guy that I actually bought it from, but anytime it changed hands, that paperwork followed this around. Really, Steven, you're kidding me, because I really thought that, you know, there'd be no way in the world I could convince anybody to be a sucker enough. If I didn't have the matching roundup to this, you know, the roundup is in the exact same Reverend McLean case with the exact same heap of paperwork. If I didn't have the matching roundup, I probably would sell this, because what does a girl need 2 pieces of 2-dot for? But like I say, Pat wasn't wrong when he said that there probably aren't a lot of 17-gram slices of 2-dot available on the market. TKW, in case you don't know, stands for total known weight. So it was a 21.4 kilo stone when it was a whole stone. I have 17.1 grams of it in this case. It was found October 25th, 1999 in outside of 2-dot, Montana. It was found by an elk hunter. He had never seen a meteorite in his life. He had literally just stopped to sit down and have a bite to eat, and he sat down next to this rock and thought, gosh, that looks unusual. That looks like nothing I've ever seen before. I've seen a lot of rocks, but I've not seen one that looks out of place. And he was able to get it to somebody who knew about meteorites, who was able to confirm that it was a meteorite and take it in and have it classified. I love that big chondrule down in there. And it was classified. It's, you know, like weather stage 5, H6, weather stage 5. I mean, it sat out in the field for a long time before he went and found it or stumbled across it. He didn't go and find it. He just luckily found it. But yeah, a lot of the metal that was in this has terrestrialized, has turned into more of like a hematite type of metal. And so you don't see a lot of the little metal flecks. You do still see a lot of the chondrules in there, which it's an H6. There aren't a huge lot of chondrules in it, but yeah, I want to take it out of this case and hold it, but I don't know if that's what you do. Like I'd have to cut through Blaine Reed's label if I wanted to open it and hold it, and I kind of do. So, but yeah, I'm like, that's a face only a mother could love. Like, I bet, and I was so, like, I was cracking myself up the whole way. Like, I messaged Ashley and was like, how much does Blaine want for the 2-dot? And that's the price tag right there. She was like $70. I was like, oh my God. I was like, you better put it in the mail and send it on home. And then I was like, I bet Blaine was shocked when you came in and were like, where's that 2 dot? I just sold it. I bet Blaine was like, what? To who? Why? Like this one, I can get it out and hold it and put it all back together when I'm done. No harm, no foul. I'd sure like to be able to get the other one out and hold it. That one's actually, I think, in maybe better shape than the big one, but I don't know. It's pretty trashed. Poor thing. I mean, if it were polished, it would look like the other one is what's up. But yeah, well, just a little guy. Just a little guy. Oh, and I noticed on this piece, and I didn't notice it before I bought it because really it was in a case with a bunch of other meteorites, and I got to see the, you know, the label that says 2 dot, and I got to see, you know, just the top view. Well, now that I have it in my possession, is that a crusted side? Is that the weathered outside of this meteorite? Like, I think, or is that? I think it's fractured on 2 sides. I might have, I so want to take it out and hold it. Is it broken edges or is it crust? Is there visible outside of this? Oh, see, there's no way. There's no way I'm getting a look at what the outside of this meteorite looked like in this little guy, right? If I do, it's not a very good representation of what the outside. But is there? I gotta have a better look at that. How many meteorites does Montana have? Like 6? I should know the answer to that. I have 3. I have 2 dot, Roundup, and Shoto. And I think that there are a couple more like super historical, like they were found in the 18 something and in our mining districts, like our boom towns and stuff. Oh, that's hot up in the window, isn't it? Let's see, Montana has you guys can all do this for your state if you're curious. Let's see. So when you go to the Met Bowl, you can search text, and I just put in Montana. So you can put in your state, and I hit enter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 of them, and 1 crater. So I have Shoto, I have Roundup, and I have 2 dot. So some of these, like the total known weight of an iron was, you know, grams of that. And it was found in 1936. That's not available on the market anywhere, I promise. Like, that did not get cut and distributed to the masses for collection. You know, that's gotta be, if it's even in a museum somewhere, I don't know. I don't know if you could even see that meteorite if you'd like to. So yeah, we've got a couple more irons, you know, Livingston, Illinois Gulch, definitely mining, you know, iron. So 2 dot and Roundup and Shoto I have. So I hope so, Jennifer. Jennifer says I'd like to add to this list. Look, the last one that was found in 2011. We are so overdue. I mean, we see them fall, right? We catch them on our cameras. We see them fall. All of that stuff. But actually finding a meteorite is very hard. You know, sometimes they land where we can't go look for them. They land in a national park or on a reservation or in the bottom of a friggin' lake or, you know, in the ocean or, you know, things like that. And we can't go look for them. And so even if a meteorite lands on property that you can go look for it in the state of Montana, there's a good chance that that property is rugged, rocky, sagebrushy, just, you know, brutal, hard to find. And sure, you know, a meteorite is, again, you know, it stands out like a cue ball on a pool table when it's in a desert, in a sandy desert, or on a, you know, sheet of ice, or, you know, whatever. But you put that rock in the middle of the Rocky Mountains with all of the other rocks, or out here on the prairie with all of the other rocks, and pretty soon it starts getting just a little bit harder to find that one rock out of the millions of rocks that are here. So, and then you add, you know, some sagebrush on top, and some, you know, a tree, or a, you know, something, you really can't find that little son of a gun. He gets hard to find. So even though we see them fall here in Montana, and there's tons of acreage, Stephen does the math, and he could probably shoot that statistic into chat. There's, on average, how many meteorites per square mile, Stephen? But good luck picking that one rock out of all the other rocks that are out here on the prairie. So, and hot rocks, right, Machine? And plenty of rocks that are attracted to a magnet. More of those than I could shake a stick at. Like, more of those than you could ever possibly imagine. And some places are more lucky. Like, they have way less rocks that are magnetically attracted. And other places are less lucky than I. Some places are just laden in slag, and there's nowhere you can go where there isn't slag, you know. So there definitely are challenges and hurdles to Sir Rocks-a-Lot. Hello, I don't know if I said hi to you today. Challenges and hurdles that vary from place to place to place to place to place to place to place that make finding them very hard. I think it's single under 40 gram meteorite for every 3 acres. Yeah, I mean, we won't hold you to it, we promise. But I mean, that's a hopeful statistic. But yeah, is it under 3 feet of dirt? Is it, did you just kick it and walk by it? Did you, that's the stuff of my nightmares. Like, how many have I walked over? Ah! Oh, I forgot. Is Rufo going live? I got all excited about my ugly meteorite. It's so ugly. It really is ugly. I love it. It's needle in a haystack kind of stuff. It really is. It's beyond that. You know, Stephen and I both have looked for, gosh, I've always said 20 years, but I'm thinking we should start to add a couple years. We've looked for 25 years between the two of us, and we found one meteorite. That's Stephen. Stephen found one meteorite. Yes, in 1 hour. Fantastic. Thank you, Rufo. Does anybody have a link? Is there a link, Rufo? Do you have a thing set up yet? Awesome. Watch me do the thing Rufo taught me how to do. Do not put the user in timeout. Pin the message. Dang, chubby hubby. That was just about another fine example of no good deed goes unpunished. I almost put chubby hubby in timeout for sharing the link. Be careful. Be careful out there, guys. Oh, gosh. Awesome. I'm glad. Okay, so that gives me just a little bit of time. I know J and V also like to do a thing later on Wednesday. He usually puts a video out later on Wednesday. Oh, my gosh. I bet there is, Machine. I bet there is. Yeah, you're welcome, Chubby Hubby. No, thank you. Yeah, so what else have I got going on? I really need to clean up. The mess behind me is insane. Also, nothing like getting a new meteorite to make you need to reorganize your whole meteorite display. It'd be fine if it were just a just a chondrite that I liked, or just you know, I really like Bancubanites and you know, things like that. If it were just another you know, mesosiderite or another iron or another something that I was going to add to my collection, I could just sneak it in there. But no, it's a dang state meteorite. It's my home meteorite. We just brought her home. It gets front and center right there by my Shoto and stuff, and that requires reorganizing my entire meteorite case. So I've actually thought about doing a live. Excuse me, gosh. I didn't even have a bubbly drink, and I'm out of coffee. It's making me so burpy. Where you guys can kind of watch, but I'm afraid that if I do that, I'll never get it done. I'll be like, yeah, look at this one. Yeah, look at that one. Yeah. So we'll see, but yeah, I gotta clean up the mess. I really gotta. Is that for J&V's? Thank you. So we'll go from here, from this live over to Rufo's. And I may just lurk a little. I know he put maybe an invite out to somebody to come help him maybe kind of watch things. I don't know if Karen and Ma are going to be there or not, or if it's just a Rufo thing. I really don't know what's going on. Well, I'll have to go over there and find out, won't we? And then from there, hop on over to J&V, which I usually catch the beginning of. But, our symptoms of cat bite. Shush up, Rick Rock. Oh, gosh, right? I need it, and then I could drink to that, too. Anyway, I usually kind of taper off after kind of the intro on Jeff's, because then I bump over to my meteorite meeting where I will see Stephen and Allison later this evening. And yeah, so that's kind of what we got for today. I met a character. He had common opal. He didn't have junk rocks at all. He had real good rocks, actually. Hung out with the kids and talked about, you know, what used to be down next where the rocking path. I can't help it. It just comes right up. The bike path, the rock path. There used to be some buildings down there, and I don't know what they were. The picture isn't clear enough. I'm sure if I asked an old timer, they'd tell you exactly what was down there. They remember exactly what was down there. But the kids were poking around in the tar and stuff, you know, and they're building forts and stuff down there with a lot of the, you know, lumber and things that you find out there. So Ma is going to be there very probably, yes. Okay, awesome. Fantastic. I'll be lurking along. I need to eat and like I said, get ready for my meteorite meetings, but I'll definitely be watching, at least on the TV too, you know, both. I usually do both, so I can chat and then so that I can work on my phone if I need to while I'm still watching. But anyway, annual meteorites per acre, approximately 1 meteorite per 20 million acres per year. What? Okay, that sounds less possible than what you said before. It does sound very realistic, though. The good news is that, you know, probably a, you know, large portion of the land that I'm looking at is between now and the last 20 million years ago. So there's got to be one out there. At least one. Oh, it's all good. I'll find it one of these days. So, yeah, and then yeah. So, and then I'll really have to rearrange my meteorite case. Anyway, yeah, tons and tons going on. It's like, you know, I got a beepsy thing that I got to go put some rocks in and, yeah, clean up a little bit. So, probably put some Rufo and Ma shenanigans on in the background while I'm doing that, and find a little bite to eat and that kind of stuff, and see you guys all on the flip side somehow, somewhere around, you know, whether it's here, there, or everywhere. Just saying. actually, Machine Head, we will, I don't know if we will or not. If I die of rabies tomorrow, I won't see shit. But if we should maybe even in our lifetime see one of the first man-made meteorite showers. So they did was it the Tyabusa or Tyagusa, or was it, I can't remember the name of the meteorite or the mission that they did, but they did the touch and go, the TOG, the touch and go, where, oh, it was Bennu samples. So they did the touch and go where they just touched Bennu, they hoped to get a little scoop of it and then go, right? Bring the Bennu samples back, right? They did that, and they did a little bit more than touch Bennu. They plunged like deep into the crust, and it sent debris of Bennu all over right around Bennu. And then we got so much sample in there that we could barely get the lid shut, right? We got extra sample when we got back, and there was, more Bennu around the edge of the lid and stuff, okay? So what's interesting though is we will come back through that bit of space where the Bennu debris is in our lifetime. Maybe, I can't remember what it said, 2020, I can't remember what year it was predicted. And it should cause a meteor shower. Again, nothing that's, planet destroying, just, maybe a little bit more, a little bump in meteorites, predicted little shower that we will see. So, but man-made. So that's pretty cool. Awesome. And we're chewing up into the time. I kind of don't mind pushing it, like Urufo's going to start in about 45 minutes here. And I kind of don't mind pushing it right close. That way you guys don't go like forgetting about what you're doing and forget to tune into Rufo. But I do also, like I say, I kind of want to take a quick little break. Rick, don't feel bad. You rock, Rick. Try to say that 10 times real fast. 40 grams per 3 acres were figured out by meteor hunters finding space rocks on the snow in Antarctica. Yeah, and that's a great, like, base number, right? Because there isn't as much, like, erosion and glacial activity and road building and turning and twisting and, like, it's pretty stable, like, I think Antarctica is probably a pretty good place to figure a number like that at. Because they don't give a crap. Meteorites don't give a crap where they land. They're not landing more in Antarctica than they are in Africa or the ocean or whatever, right? It's funny because I've had arguments with people who want to learn about meteorites. And they're like, well, yeah, but that meteorite fell in Northwest Africa. That ain't the same meteorite that fell. Like, it's not the same as the ones that fall in the States. Yeah, no, it is. No, they come from the same outer space. Pretty sure. Pretty sure. Pretty sure they're the same thing. There's nothing wrong with buying Northwest Africa meteorites to learn about meteorites. They are the same meteorites that fall in the States. They just fell in the, so, and since we named them for the place that they were found, that's how that works. It's not that they're special. Like, their meteorites are different than ours. They're not. The logic of some people, though, it just is enough to make you just go, huh? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Les, for joining. She says, thanks for the laughs, Allison. Yeah, I'm not one for getting embarrassed, but I did go make my speech in front of the Lions Club when I meant to go make it in front of the City Hall, and yeah, it's just like, oh God, no. Allow me to, please allow me to dismiss myself from your meeting. Which it's probably a good time to do that from here as well. Let's dismiss ourselves. Oh. And I'm glad I can laugh about it, like, I'm so glad I didn't go in there, all snorting and tooting like, do better. You guys are all, you know, does anybody know what they're doing? And then here I am, I'm the one who has no idea what the hell they're doing. I'm the one that's in the wrong meeting. Like, I'm so glad I went in there and was like, here's my cute little poem. 'Twas the last night of summer, went all through the house with a gray and white kitten with fear in its eyes. Like, I'm so glad I was so nice. Oh, God. H&E clan meteorites are all from asteroid Vesta, right? Lunars are all from the moon, and Martians are all from Mars. And, you know, there's some that we don't know their parent body, but they still are the same space rocks. Oh, God. Yeah, Scott, hopefully that never happens again. Like I say, you can't make that crap up. Oh, ran into the kids down at the walking path. Like I say, they inspired me to have a little review of some old historic photos, and it's always neat to see, like, that whole refinery is gone. You know, the grass is growing in the field where it used to be, pretty much, you know. And then how busy downtown looked in some of those old pictures. Well, it's not that busy on a day-to-day here now, and it probably wasn't then either. If you read the little caption, the handwritten caption across the bottom of the photo, it says that it was Sunburst Stampede, you know, 1923 or whatever the date is. So it was probably really only that busy in town for that photograph that day because they were having a, you know, a special event in town. But it's neat. It's neat to see in the buildings that were there and aren't now. And as a metal detectorist, that's fascinating to me. I'm like, where were the banks? Where were the bars? Where were the playgrounds? Where were, you know, those are the places that I want to take my metal detector and check out. So those old photos are handy. And like Chubby Hubby said in the start, ask a geezer. The geezers are an underappreciated resource. 110% agree. 110% agree. And if you don't have a geezer, probably a character is your next best bet. You know, what you doing down here? Rockhounding? I could tell that Larry was a character. So, yeah, thanks to Larry. I hope to bump into him again. That was a lot of fun. Always a pleasure bumping into the kids. The little crash test dummies, they just remind me on the constant that it's so amazing that we all lived as long as we did. Like, anyway, way too much fun. And always, I've got another video in the can still, lots more coming up. And then I got a new meteorite, so I got more work to do. And yeah, stay tuned. You never know. Farmer's large piece will cover. Wow, wee, Rick. A geezer character is tops. The best of both worlds. And on that note, it's time to fill my cup up. So we'll sing the song. We'll do the things, and then you guys be sure to pop on over to Rufo's and then on over to Jeff's later, and, you know, join the meteorite meeting if that interests you. You can leave your camera off. You can leave your microphone off. You can just lurk in the background. You can participate and chat like you guys do here. You can unmute and put your camera on and join the conversation. It's, you know, you're welcome to join us. So. Yeah, so again, we could just chat all day, but let's save a little fun for next week. Look at all that common opal. Look at that beautiful opal. It's been an opal kind of week. It's been an opal kind of month. About enough opal that you could just, you know, just about enough opal to shake a stick at. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here today. I so appreciate hanging out with you guys. It's always fun. And there were a lot of laughs today, despite it being a very serious situation. I mean, I don't downplay that again, and I don't discredit or unappreciate your guys' concern for my safety and Kitty's safety too. Yeah, like I say, I joke about it and stuff, but that doesn't mean that I don't take it seriously or appreciate your guys' concerns. So it's just that, you know, sometimes if you don't laugh, you cry. And sometimes a little bit of inappropriate humor can kind of break the ice and lighten the mood a little. So on that note, I do still have Bear and Jeff. I have your package. Otherwise, I think everybody else out, except I'm holding Romania and I'm holding Allison. I think I was told, if I've understood everyone correctly, we should be all caught up except for Jeff and Bear. Also, there was something else I was going to say about that. Oh, I still have 1,000 subscriber thank yous to get out. So, like, Jennifer, you're on that list. Les is on that list. There's a couple of you that are on that list that I still haven't got out. So, you know, like I say, I can't remember everybody. I'm just one person and can't remember, but I do want to get some of that out and say thanks. So, anyway, all of the fun things to look at, talk about, do, and so much always going on and always more adventures out here on the prairie. So we'll sing the song and do the thing because you guys rock and I appreciate y'all. So, yeah, you never did, Jeff, because I just wanted to chat with you about what's in your box before I sent it. So I'll get to you, I promise. You're just a little different than trickier. So, yeah, I'll get with you very soon. Like I say, you and Bear are the only ones I haven't taken care of yet. So... Anyway, in the meantime, may your poetry reading to the Lions Club be as embarrassing as it possibly can be. Good luck to all of you out there who are going to give that a try ever. All right. Pretty rocks out on the prairie. Pretty rocks are everywhere. Pretty rocks for us to look at. Pretty rocks are everywhere. There's a pink one and a green one and a blue one and a yellow one. And they all are very pretty. And they all are everywhere. Thank you guys so much for watching today. In a world where you can choose to be anything, choose to be kind. Of a rockhound. Of a rabid rockhound even. All right. Peace, happies, and boop.